So, this year we've been spending a lot of time talking about themes and issues and what is it the author wants us to know about a book and the big ideas that we can take away from the piece of writing. We explored our literary nonfiction, and then most recently we went into reading about books with specific social issues and how they related to a group of people. So today we're just going to start really lightly and jump in with a quick review on theme. What is the theme? You should be able to answer this, but the theme is the lesson or moral of the story that the author wants you to learn. Remember, the author will not come right out and say explicitly what the theme is. The theme will be revealed through the actions and words of characters in the story. So look to see, what are the characters doing? Is it right? Is it wrong? Listen for that lesson, and that's what the author wants you to take away as the theme. So let's practice together. What's the theme in this next short story? Katie and Eric were eating their lunch together, like they had done every day since 6th grade. Eric was telling Katie that he really liked Sophie. Katie immediately displayed a look of disgust on her face. "Why the face?" asked Eric. "I think Sophie is really cool, and she asked to follow me on Snap. I also love all of her TikToks." Katie gulped and said, "Eric, we have been friends for years. Trust me when I say Sophie is not a nice person." Eric didn't believe Katie. Even though Sophie had been his friend since elementary and he had shared all of his sad and happy moments with her, he didn't care what she thought about Sophie. Little did he know, Sophie had a dark side. The next day at lunch, Katie couldn't find Eric. She thought it was strange because she had not eaten lunch without him since they had been in middle school. Then she saw him. He was sitting with Sophie. Katie didn't know what to do. She immediately turned around because she felt sick. Little did Eric know how mean Sophie really was. Katie went to hide in the bathroom. Later that day, Eric found Katie and asked her where she went during lunch. Katie didn't understand why. She said, "What do you care? I saw you sitting with Sophie." Eric turned red. He felt badly. He said, "I sat with her for 5 minutes. She proceeded to make fun of everyone at the table, then tried to get me to join in." Katie smiled. She was happy her friend figured it out. She was happy to see him and couldn't wait until lunch the next day. So, the theme in this story is actually loyalty. I didn't give you too much time to think about it, but here is what I want to talk about. You could tell that the characters in the story were friends, and they had been friends for quite a long time. The actions and the words used by Katie to describe how they had been friends since 6th grade and how they had eaten lunch together every day and shared their sad moments and happy moments. That's showing that there's a connection. And then there was this other character, Sophie, whom Eric felt like he needed to have lunch with. So Eric sat down for 5 minutes and then realized not the friend he wanted to have. So he was excited to see Katie at the end of the day. The reason loyalty is the theme here is because loyalty displays a characteristic of feeling like you belong with someone and you can honor them and be respectful of them, and you guys are friends because of a connection and a long-term friendship that you might have had. So Sophie was absolutely not the friend that Eric needed. So reflecting back on how to find the theme, we have to think, what is it that's the lesson or the moral that the author wants us to take from the story? As you go ahead and work your way through the rest of these activities on this HyperDoc, come back to these slides if you need to be reminded on what the definition of theme is and how you can look for it in other readings or passages.